In this video, I'm going to show you how I brought this laboratory background to life. Be sure to watch the video all the way to the end and see if you can spot all the effects that I use. Once the video is done, I'll show you each of the elements and explain how I created each one. And at the end of the video, I'm going to provide you with a link so you can download this background as a video and you can use it in your creations. Just in time for Halloween! Now, let's watch the rest of this lifeless video. Now I'm going to show you what I created. It's alive! So here are all the visual elements that I added to this scene. A stealthy mouse crawling around on the floor. A purple chemical steam. Who knows what it is? Some blinking lights. A countdown timer. Maybe it's a doomsday timer. Who knows? There's a gloomy purple haze. Jimi Hendrix would have loved it. There are bubbling beakers on the counter. There's a bubbling dome hanging up above. There's a mysterious mist coming out of this funny shaped pot. There are some lights strobing back and forth on this shining machine. There's lightning and thunder crashing outside. Then there's the sounds. There's the sound of the beakers bubbling. Who knows what they're boiling in there? And then there's the steam pressure being released every few seconds. Is that what's floating around in the air? Who knows? Okay, so we've had our fun. Now it's time to get to work. I'm going to show you one by one each of the elements and how I put them together. So let's start with the mouse. There's nothing really special about the mouse. The mouth is just a path that's made into the shape of a mouse with a tail. The special thing about the mouse is the path that I made so that the mouse could run inside of it, which causes him to be able to duck into the scene and then go behind the mist pot and then come out under the table and continue on his way. So the next item is the purple chemical steam. That's a stock item right inside of Create Studio. It's called Smoke 28, and all I did was just deformed it a little bit, stretched it, turned it on its side, and put it where the hole coming out of the machine was. It repeats 4 times during the video, and I just added some sound effect to it every time it comes out. It's pretty easy to do. Nothing special about that, really. So the next effect are the red and green blinking lights on the steam machine. I made those by creating 2 circles with yellow borders, and then I stuck the 2 of them inside of a group, and I use the batch animations to set the opacity, and that's what makes them blink on and off. So for the doomsday clock, all I did was just draw a hand using the path tool. After that, I moved the anchor over to the corner, and then I set the motion for that particular hand to rotation, and I set it to minus 500 so it spin in the right direction, and I set it to linear so it would have a nice even spin all the way around. And that's it. So next is the gloomy purple haze. To get that done, I used the stock item Fog 11 from Create Studio. I flipped it upside down, so now it was hanging from the ceiling rather than along the floor. I added a color fill of purple to it, and that's something I'd never tried before, but the color fill actually colored the fog purple, which was perfect for what I needed. And lastly was the clip speed. I slowed it down to the minimum possible so that it would hang and not move too much. I then just repeated the fog over and over again and did a fade in between each one so that it wouldn't look choppy. Next is the 3 beakers that are on the counter. I actually created those as a separate video and put them into my scene. I'm going to have a separate video at a later date showing how I created the beakers. Next up is the bubbling dome. I accomplished this by using the particle component and by using a circle so that I could track mat it. And basically what I did is I created the particles using the round shape. I increased the number, and I flipped it upside down so that they would go upwards instead of downwards like snow. And I put it all inside of a circle matched to the size of the dome so that I could then do a track mat to it. Next up is the mysterious mist. That's simply the Smoke 27 item that's in Create Studio. And all I did for that was just stretched it out by using the clip speed component. I stretched it horizontally so that I'd give it more of a lofty look. And I just repeated it over and over again and put the fade effect between each one so that it would stop from having the choppiness. Next is the strobing lights. I did this exactly the same way I did the red and green blinking light. The only difference is since there are 4 of them, it makes them look like they're strobing. But it's the same exact thing. Just made 4 circles, put the 4 circles in a group, then added the batch effects to it for opacity. So the lights are going on and off, and the pattern that it gives a kind of a strobing effect. For the lightning, I used a circle with the gradient, circular gradient, and I just feathered the edges, and I made the edges transparent as well as the center transparent. And for the windows, I added a yellow path, and I only have that on for 1 second. The secret here is you want the lightning flash, which is the circle, to only show up for 0.2 of a second. And what's happening is because it's on the left side of the room, it kind of comes across to the right side of the room, so it's coming through the windows. And then the path itself, those only come on for 1 second. They start at the same time as the circle, and then they fade out over a 1 second period. The idea here is to try to make the lightning effect the way that lightning comes through a window. The last things I added were the sound effects. So you can hear the steam being released. You can hear water dripping. You can hear the boiling of the beakers. And you can also hear the thunder and lightning. Okay, so let's put it all back together and watch the scene one more time, and you'll see how much atmosphere all these things add to the scene.